I know some of y'all have got money riding on me. I think Captain Old Nixon has her money on an emotional breakdown where I lose all bodily function. But I will endure. When you reach this point in your career, you're asked quite often how you did it. You attend many retirement ceremonies, you listen to a lot of speeches, and you wonder, what will I say when my time comes? 30 years at this podium, how did I get here? What can I say at this point that will have impact? Who truly deserves the credit? Or should I just stand here and do my best rendition of Elvis doing I Did It My Way? But there are people who need to be thanked. There is advice that I want to offer. And as you know, if I start talking, there's no telling where I might stop. So here we go. A large share for any success that I have had goes to my father. He taught me early what a rare gift it is to be a Tennessean and an American, and that endowment is not without obligation. In the 1970s, Daddy turned part of our basement into a rec room, and the decor was lines and ropes and life rings. And in the corner, he had fashioned a motion chair, and on this chair rested a book. It looked like a Bible to me, so I knew it was clearly set in a place of importance. It was 1957 Blue Jacket manual, and I pored over those pages in fascination, and so I learned that my dad was a sailor, and so was his father, and that's probably what led me to the recruiting office, and it breaks my heart that Daddy's not here. As I think back, the first salute I ever rendered was ironically in a blue and gold uniform, a two-fingered salute to my mother in the uniform of a Cub Scout. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. I carry that oath with me still, but I must admit, and some of you know, I have not always adhered to it as I should have. My mother gave me the one undeniable truth in life. She would say, whoever told you the world was fair, boy, lied to you. My mother also is a locally renowned actress in our hometown. And from her I got the ability that all leaders have to take on a role and to transform. Some of you may have seen me flip the switch a time or two. One minute I'm going ballistic. The next minute I'm very calm and collected. That I get from my mother, and she truly put the first tools in my leadership tool bag. My sister Michelle, more than anyone, showed me tenacity in some epic battles on the decks of our house and yard. My sister Michelle taught me to be a warrior. My twin sister Mercy would always mediate the accord of détente between us, and so she taught me to be a peacemaker. And it's the most important skill a military man can have. My children, it is my hope that as you both now serve in uniform, you gain an understanding of what was my calling and why I'm unrepentant for any sacrifice the family made. I do owe you a debt of gratitude, because when you entered my life is when I became a serious man and started applying the lessons I learned as a child to my naval career. As you both now walk your own path, I offer you a gift of appreciation that I hope will help you to steer a true course for whatever your future holds. That's a replica of a World War I compass. It'll always point you where you're supposed to go. The most enduring gift from my parents is the group of adults that I was allowed to interact with as a child. They are people of service in some way: homemakers, educators, coaches, colonels, generals, sergeants, postmen, people of the church. There's not a slacker in the bunch. There's not one taking half steps. They're all dedicated and they're all invested. They were and are my extended family, and they also share a great part of the credit for the man that I have become. In my life in the Navy, there are far too many people who I owe thanks to start listing now, but I will speak of a few. And it's important. Most of these people are long retired from the Navy. Some of them might even be dead. But they told me what I tell you. And so what I tell you, you will tell someone else. And that is how the chain of our mess works. S.H. Wonsakowski, my first LPO, he showed me the ropes. He praised and disciplined with an equal hand. I got a lot of praise, so you know I also got a lot of discipline. And more than anyone, he pushed me to excellence in that first enlistment. Master Chief Futch, my boss at the commissary in Iceland, he directed me to go toward SHA school, which is where I learned to stand in front of people and talk. And those of you who know how I tell you, you must learn to express yourself in written word. That's where I met Senior Chief Washington, who taught me that lesson, who made me retype a memo, a one-line memo. He made me retype it. IBM Selectric 2, anybody? He made me type that thing about 20 times. Why is this comma here? This word is misspelled. What is it you're trying to say? That experience would be invaluable as I began to write fitness reports, to choose those words, to make sure that they said exactly what you want them to say, good or bad. And it's important to say the bad in that fit rep or evaluation. George Hines, HTC retired. He took a newly penned and very cocky chief in tow and showed me what chiefing was all about. How to get results from some of the most hard-headed cases you ever saw in both our divisions and repair parties. He was the best Liberty buddy I ever had. And George had a great take on my mother's lesson about fair. You've heard me use this. I stole it, as I told you. Somebody said it to me. George would say, fair is a place where people take your pigs and horses to see who's got the best one. We ain't got no Ferris wheels, funnel cakes, or cotton candy here. That's pretty solid, right? J.J. Jackson, who couldn't be here today. ABHCS retired. J.J. re-energized me. I'd been on a recruiting tour, it had been hard, and I came aboard Saipan determined that I was going to be the #1 chief in the Mint. It was quickly pointed out to me that J.J. was the #1 chief in the Mint, and wasn't nobody going to change that. So needless to say, me and J.J. butted heads on more than one occasion, but over many cups of coffee, a lot of rounds of golf, we reached an understanding that we both had a common goal in mind, just different ways of going about it. He introduced me to my wife, who I'm going to speak about later. He was the best man at my wedding. He's a great friend, and I'm sorry he couldn't be here today. Master Chief Gray, Charlie, Butch, Steve, the NEXCOM crew, we did some groundbreaking work at NEXCOM, some transformative things, and those relationships carry on. Captain O. Mixon, Force, I can't tell you how thankful I am for you to be here today, for the mentorship you gave me, the freedom that you allowed me to impact Supply Department in Wasp. Serving as the Force Ship Serviceman has been the pinnacle. That title in itself is an honor that is way beyond my ability. The opportunity to meet and talk with SHs from the newest seamen to the senior master chiefs, all in between. I can't express how proud I am to be one of our small group and of the work that you do for your crews every day. And I hope I expressed that to you during my tour. If I did not mention your name, take no offense, it would take forever. But a few more: Pete, Dirk, Jill, Esco, Angela, Monique, Ken, and many others. I hope I can honor you by simply saying, when I recount my life at sea, you'll all be there. Some advice for those who will continue to serve. When you've been around the Navy as long as I have, as James said, you will inevitably be asked about the changes in the Navy. What do you think? I will tell you that at its core, the Navy has not changed. The Navy is young men and women who have sworn an oath and are willing to go in harm's way to defend our Constitution and our way of life. As a side note, it might do you well to read that document that you swore an oath to defend. The Navy is as it has always been. So if you're a sailor, be a professional. Learn your rate and the craft of life at sea. Do it the best that you can and strive to do it better. Today, as it was throughout history, a ship cannot put to sea or return to that pier without bare hands on a line. So heave around, shipmate. Exercise your warfare qualification. Know what everyone's part is. Appreciate their role and let them know how important the work they do is. Teach them to be confident in their ability. Remember, whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. As an officer, a chief or leading petty officer, if you're wondering what leadership really means in the Navy today, you're lost. Leadership has not changed and will not change. The same skill that was used to snap the crew to rig sail and run the guns out is the same skill set that's used to get performance from your sailors in all things. Battle stations are battle stations. And the faith that your sailors should have in you is the same faith that sailors had in John Paul Jones or Bull Halsey or that terrified men had in their boat coxswains on D-Day. Leadership is a verb. It requires action on your part and not contemplation. You must do. You must allow others to do, to learn, to err, to rebound. My fellow chiefs, the greatest honor any sailor can have is to become a member of our community. You must ensure that that goal, to be a chief, remains in the crew. They must be ravenous for that opportunity to enter the mess. And so you must hold the mysteries and authorities of the mess, those that cannot be called by name, number, nor file sacred. You must hold the mysteries and authorities of the mess as you are bound by our creed. You must observe the privileges and responsibilities. You must abide by our greatest lesson: be humble. If you don't see a sailor accomplish something every day that humbles and amazes you, you're not looking close enough. If you don't know there are others who can do the job better than you, you're too flattering of yourself. If someone says to you, you're the best man for the job, you should immediately think, holy shit, we're in trouble. But I will give my all for the mess today. Chief's pride is not about you, it's about us. In leadership, being able to step aside and allow the success of others is not a weakness. To the contrary, it displays that you have properly trained those in your charge. A ship cannot put to sea with the anchor underfoot, so get yours out of the way. Your anchor provides stability to the chain of the mast and thereby the crew, but you must wait anchored to see the ship really perform. You must realize when your anchor is holding someone else's ship in harbor. Remember, sailors are meant to go in harm's way. Let them. Officers command, rates do the work. Your job as a chief is to ensure that both are successful. If you keep these ideas in mind, you will find your mess a wellspring of leadership and tradition. Being a member of that group will become the goal of the petty officers, not just to wear those anchors, but to be a member of our mess that I have been honored to be a part of for nearly 20 years. And now to my good wife, Sharon. If it's going to happen, it'll happen here. Sharon came to me at a very significant point in my life. When a sailor is foundering at sea, the waves surely begin to take him down as I was. The only thing that can save you is a life ring. Sharon is my life ring. She shines the rescue beacon in my life. She truly saved me from drowning. She brought religion back to my life and showed me what the true faith to follow the path charted for you by God is about. She saved my family. Jessica Thomas and I have achieved more, grown more, and loved more since she came to us. The first significant moment I recall with Sharon was when she pinned my senior chief anchors on. She never doubted I would make Master Chief. And if I have one regret in my career, it's that I very selfishly had my Master Chief anchors pinned at sea without her. Only 2 days from port. But James stood in for her. He did a pretty good job. So in considering what would be the appropriate gift for her, I struggled with it. The Crystal Heart, the Order of the Military Spouse, none of that fit the bill. So for you, a symbol of what I hope says what my heart holds, that will remind you of the blue of the sea, many great moments, hot dogs, pizza, petty paws, at our little U-shaped spot in Chesapeake. I do not know where my path takes me from here, but I do know who I am walking with. I know there are green pastures. I know that we will be led beside still waters. I know there is a table set with an overflowing cup for us. I ask for vision to see that path and the faith to follow it, as I know goodness and mercy shall follow me if I do. The last words and the most important part of this talk are these. Robert E. Lee said, "Duty is the most sublime word in the English language. You cannot do more. You should never do less." And as I leave today, I hope what is said of me is simply he did his duty. So stand by while the chaplain prays for us. Bosun mate, you stand by the pipe aside. Captain, you can get ready to take that salute. God bless all of you for being part of my sea story, allowing me to be part of yours. God bless our Navy, and God bless the United States of America.